1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the 1.21 show. It's time for another top 10. I'm the one true gun Sip Lippin.
I'm Snarlin' Sam.
I'm Dudley Butt.
And today we're doing the top 10 games on the Nintendo Entertainment System. My favorite of all the systems still.
I love a good Nintendo, and I love that my phone can then power my Nintendo. Well, power the necessities to play Nintendo on the go.
Yeah, it was big shit back then.
Did anyone ever have trouble hooking the Nintendo up sometimes with channel changing and boxes behind the TV?
More of a pain, but not that I could think of.
Now, I can go back as far as to say I had mine before they had the coaxial cable. So I had to I had to unscrew the screws and put in the little
oh god
TV video switch.
What a joyous occasion that was.
I think though at such a young age that taught me how to work with electronics. Like I got into taking things apart and hooking things up.
Taught me how to do it.
And moving forward, I always have an easy time like with TVs and video games and stereos. Like, comes natural to me. I think it started early on with the NES.
Yeah, man. It's fucking Fred Savage over here. Natural.
The natural Fred Savage.
As opposed to the unnatural Fred Savage.
You don't want to meet him.
What a character.
Number 10.
Number 10 is the Ninja Turtles arcade game.
I love it.
Whee!
That was a fun, just side-scrolling,
Fun.
set path.
It was just fun.
Action adventure.
Fun.
I think anyone who's ever played it, all you have to say is you start off in a burning building and instantly they remember the entire game.
Right. Like, when I hear Ninja Turtles game, I instantly think of the overhead shot where you got to go into the sewer, then it's a side-scroller.
Mm-hmm.
But then you say that, and it's like, oh, all right. Yeah, I got you.
I still remember getting that bitch at Montgomery Ward, and it was like $80. And it was in that glass case, and I just wanted it.
Dude, I can't believe the price of games back then. Like, compare them to what they are now.
Yeah.
Why are we paying fucking like $20 less for games that are spectacular?
It was redonkulous.
The dollar's not worth as much.
No, it's not that. It's the cartridges are fucking more expensive to
The cartridge.
manufacture.
Friggin' cartridge. Well, how much were Sega CD games?
Oh. Don't even get me started on Sega CD.
I'll get you started on Sega CD. That piece of shit.
FMV SMID.
Monday.
Full motion video.
Dude, that was like a horrible internet connection watching a VHS copy of something on YouTube.
Well, let me throw out a story real quick because it kind of relates with everything. Me and my brother, Rob, wanted fucking Sega CD so bad because it was cool, obviously. We literally traded in like 2 Nintendos and every game that we ever had to get money to buy it. And looking back now, like I could just smack myself in the face. You want to talk about time travel? Let's go back to that moment. And
Wait.
I'm going to kick like 6-year-old me in the dick and be like, don't you dare do this.
Well, there might be consequences for that action today, but didn't you also have like 8 Nintendos?
Nah, 2. 2 unless one broke eventually by Rob.
What with Rob behind the controls, I'm sure a few did break.
Well, man, I'm not going to lie. I'll put that out there. Like, I had my own Nintendo, but my brother.
Right.
He didn't want to share that shit with me. He didn't want to play 2 players.
I'm sure your Nintendo was cared for with a mother's touch, whereas Rob's was raped nightly.
Dragged down the hallway.
I remember. Yeah, it got dragged down the hallway. I remember watching him. We talked about this before, but I remember another time when he lost at some. It might have been Mario 2. Like, he might have kept dying in, like, fucking desert world or whatever the fuck. So he dies or whatever, and I witnessed him take the controller like it was a friggin' axe, all right, and start hacking at the Nintendo like it owed him money. And, I mean, the look on his fucking punum was ridiculous.
Good old Rob. What the hell number are we on? We got
9.
sidetracked like a motherfucker.
We only
9.
did one. We did 10.
Oh,
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9 is one of the hardest games that ever came out on the Nintendo, in my opinion. Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it was quite tough.
Yeah, I was a difficult little mother.
It was fun, but my only gripe with that game was the characters would respawn as soon as you moved. So if you killed somebody and went back like 2 frames and turned around, they were instantly back there. Which in the later levels, when shoryukens are flying, people are punching and kicking and jumping, it's hard to dodge all that shit. So as soon as you turn around to dodge something and come back, there's 2 more guys that are right back on the screen.
This is where you insert Ace of Base.
You saw the sign?
Want another baby?
Turn around.
Oh.
Wait, I'm glad you picked every other Ace of Base song.
Hey, I'm glad that I picked their biggest one instead of one I don't even know about.
I'm mad I
You
knew
know
one.
that goddamn song. You've
Rob
got
also-
the CD on your fucking, I don't know, whatever you use these days, you crazy kids.
Boudoir.
All right, number 7, another difficult game, but another classic, Castlevania.
Yeah, that was the whip. You had the whip in that shit, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Belmont. What's his name?
The best weapon in the game was the whip, and they ended up taking it away, 2 games later?
It was too much like sex.
With the
That was
dominatrix.
Didn't they release one just on Xbox or just recently in the last few years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
They're still making them.
Yeah, make them good.
The series is hit or miss. Some are good, some are bad. Castlevania, definitely the best.
There's a lot of them.
Number 6, Clay, you mentioned this one a couple shows ago, I think. Contra.
Yeah. Now that's a hard game. Let's just for 1 second imagine anyone has played this game. Imagine not having the code. All right,
You'd be fucked.
dude. You wouldn't even. I know some people. Someone said that someone did a run through and it's on YouTube and the guy not dying ever or something like that. That
That's
fucking game.
ridiculous.
No, that game was hardcore shit, dude. Like, okay, you get shot by a bullet, you're dead. That's understandable. But you touch a man's arm and you also die. What the fuck world do we live in? Like, I don't understand all
Deadly.
that. Yeah, you
Wait,
should
now,
get-
I'm going to stop right here. If you want to talk about the hardest fucking Nintendo game, Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, where your underwear fell off and then you died?
Yeah, you had 2 hits, and it was fucking horrible, and then you got to the end finally, and the guy was like, oh, this was just a trick. You have to do it all over again. And now it's fucking harder. Thanks.
I mean,
But, okay, back on track.
you only get one. I mean, you get 3 lives in Contra, and you
You
can
only get
hit-
one in Ghosts and Goblins. 2 hits.
I guess that's how they made up for not having graphics. You know what I'm saying? And that's why those games are considered better by some people, because you don't have the graphics. It's all about the gameplay. So they were
Yeah,
cool
if you
games,
beat it, you're the shit.
but they were hard as fuck. Like that's why I don't understand why they wouldn't release the real Super Mario 2 here when you got games like Castlevania and Contra, you know, that are just almost impossible to beat without cheating.
Number whatever we're on.
Number 5, another
5.
hard game, Mega Man 2.
Mega Man is such a hard. It's ridiculous
All of them. Why
Yeah.
are all of our greatest games hard as shit?
because they're all.
Maybe there's a...
Because those were the
Yeah.
greatest games that took me a month and a half to beat as a kid. I didn't Mario 2 that shit and beat it in a sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel Saints Row 4 just came out. I feel like I could beat it in one night if I just did the story missions, you know? Whereas these other games, fucking hard, and then you got the factor of not being able to save. You know, you got to do it all in one sitting. That's why they're hard.
But they did give a lot of kids complexes.
Well, like they don't beat a game and they get beat up.
They just hawk out, get all stressed out, probably get heart problems, diabetes.
Diabetes. So we're talking about Rob again.
Pretty much.
Sans the diabetes.
I wish that we could have some kind of visual stimulant to show the listeners what we're talking about with Rob. Because when he hawks, he hawks. Oh, when he was a mini hawk, he would hawk.
Through the years, he's hawked about this and that.
Yeah, the hawking is sporadic, but we're not kidding. There's the rage gamers and all that. Rob was like the king of those.
The
Like,
original.
I'm sure if it was legal, he would have sacrificed his Nintendo out back, like on an altar. It was
Just to beat Contra.
yeah. You fucker. Well, the one thing about Mega Man also there's like 9 of them, something like that.
There's more than that, but
11.
there's 9 on the bucket. Well, I know there's 10 now. Mega Man X.
All right.
There's a shitload. There's like probably like 15. If
There's
you
a
count
lot.
like Japan's versions and shit.
They're all the same.
Mega Man.
I'm big over there.
They're all the same game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are different features. Like, I know you in one of them you got the dog and you got the, whatever the hell he was. He could fly and all that stuff. But essentially, they're all the same. You jump very robotically and you dodge things that are flying at you and odd enemies. It sounds like a lot of NES games.
90% of NES games.
Yep. In my head while I was saying all that, fucking Mega Man started turning into Mario, and I was like, that's the same game.
I think this is the real number 5. I think we fucked up not counting. That's 2 weeks in a row we can't count. I can't count.
Well,
Clay,
whatever.
this was-
It's number 4 now, right?
That's number 5.
Didn't we
Clay's
just do
personal
number
pick
5?
for the list. Yeah, that's what I said. We fucked up. Here's 5. Mega Man 2 was 6. Double Dragon is number 5.
Double Dragon, woo! I love both of them. 1 and 2. That's what I meant. 3
Yeah.
was kind of shit.
I'll say my favorite thing about 1 is, all right, Clay, me and you, we're sitting there on the floor because that's what kids do.
Right.
And we're playing Double Dragon. We're whooping ass. We're going through. We save the bitch. And then they're like, all right, well, only one of you can get the bitch. Fight.
Yeah. That's a good
And it's
little
just like,
twist.
uh-oh, you're now my enemy
Yeah.
sitting next to me. It was just great as
I'm
a
sure
youth.
that caused a lot of fights within the homestead.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I assume you took most of the bitches.
You're talking to
Well-
Clay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally enjoy those bitches. So, it was a
I
good...
let him have a few. Or he let me have a few, I guess he should say.
It was an adequate splitting of the bitches.
He sneezed or something.
A man who
got in his
shares his
eye.
bitches is a true friend.
All right, we all share bitches. I remember in part 2, they kind of it was kind of the same thing-ish. When you got to the end of the game, you ended up fighting yourself. It was like a shadow image of yourself that was just stronger and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of whack. Like a shitty boss. Like, why was my shadow doing this to me?
But what a bastard shadow.
And why is my shadow not sharing these powers with me?
Number 4, I don't think there's a single person that doesn't know about this game that's over the age of 25. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Or
That
Punch-Out.
That game is a staple of, like, life, almost.
I
Yeah.
love me a Punch-Out.
I beat it the other night.
I was playing it at work today on my phone.
I played it when I was in Cleveland on the way home.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the magnet on my refrigerator right now.
Then they took out Punch-Out. Or Mike Tyson. They didn't take out the punch.
That's because Mike Tyson raped his daughter or something.
I'm not sure that's the full story. Or
I still think they're allegations.
Or even
Wasn't he
right
acquitted
story.
or whatever?
I don't think you ever get acquitted of raping your daughter.
Well, I mean, he's got a career now.
He's doing like yoga or whatever, and he's happy.
No, it's because everything that he's in, he plays a joke of himself. Because that's what he
true.
is.
That's true.
You
Well-
wouldn't say that to his face.
I would not say that to his face because then I probably wouldn't fucking
You're a
have
joke
one.
of a man, Mike
Dude,
Tyson.
I would say that out of a car window as I'm driving onto the freeway.
I would shake his hand and tell him he led a storied career.
Way to go, champ.
I love you. He said in an interview recently that he was never any good at that game.
Really?
Yeah. You figure he would be. He was young back then.
The irony.
So they took out MT and put in MD, Mr. Dream.
Who was already in there, right?
No.
No, it was Mike Tyson but white.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hair.
Yeah, I remember that. He
White
had hair.
Tyson.
White Tyson. Mike Tyson put you down, and when he uppercut at you,
He
were
didn't
down.
get up.
Like if he knocked you down in one punch, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If he
Yeah,
caught you, you were down.
Mr. Dream did the same. I beat Mike Tyson once, and I beat Mr. Dream once, and it's like at that point, you're done. You know, like I don't even need to. I don't care if I don't beat it again. Like I've done it. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a mark of a champion.
Oh, damn right. And you had to have people with you watching. You know what I'm saying? Because you saw what the fuck just happened, right? I just beat Mike Tyson. Like, so fuck off. If Larry at lunch wants to deny it, fuck him. I did it. You saw it.
Bill saw it.
Number 3, another game that was a staple on the NES, the original Metroid,
Yes.
where you found out it was a chick.
It was a chick all along. No, chicks have cooties. Whatever.
Big reveal.
Yeah, well,
That did blow my mind as a youth, though.
Yeah, definitely did not see that coming.
Sexist, but I guess, yeah, you didn't expect it.
You know, we were kids. It's not sexist if you don't like sex at the time. It's more like, oh, well, it's like I said, they got cooties.
It's more like, oh. Well said.
It was a blast, I'll tell you. Like, I beat it before, but I never owned it. So that's a mind-boggling.
I feel like I watched you beat it.
I definitely beat it.
Beat my copy.
I
think about it.
It was a fun turning into the ball and just rolling away. What a blast, chick.
The mother brain fight at the end is one of the big end boss fights that sticks out in my head when I think of old video games.
Yeah, that's how you do a boss.
Number 2 is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Fantastic.
That's my favorite by far.
It's awesome.
Mario.
Like I remember waiting for that shit to come out. Like back in the day when you were a kid, it's like you don't have the internet, you know? Like you don't know when that bitch is coming or what store is going to have it when. And I just remember going from store to store, pinging off stores like a ping pong fucking whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. Nah, pinball is what I was trying to say. I'm an idiot. Pinball! So no stores had it. You know, I went to like the obscure stores, you know what I'm saying? Like consumers. You're like, what the fuck is that? Why are you there, kid? You don't
Was that across the street from Glen Burnie Mall?
Yes, it definitely was.
That's where I got Double Dragon 2, and I thought about that when we were talking about it, but I couldn't remember the name of it, so I just left it out.
Consumers.
Oh, fuck, man.
I know, right? So no one had that biatch. I don't even know where I got it. I don't know when I got it. I don't remember getting it. I just know that I got it, and I played the F and S out of it. And I learned that you got the was it the first whistle where you ran and you flew up the castle wall over it to get the food?
Yeah.
Nah, the first one was when you held down on the big
Drop
white
behind the block.
Yeah, and you ran behind the end of the level.
Really? I thought that was the second one. Whatever. In any
Either way.
Yeah. I remember learning about that in the back of a Nintendo Power, that it was like Nestor. Was it Lester? Nestor? Remember
Yeah, like his confidentials.
It was it was the blonde kid, and then there was like another kid. I guess that was the cool one. And they were like, they did it, you know, like they were in the game, and they was like, oh, hold on, I'm going to fly up here for fuck. And he flies up there like a raccoon and gets the whistle. And that's how I learned about it.
Funny things come full circle. Fred Savage and the Wizard, where they showed Super Mario 3. The kid flies up there. That's how I learned about it.
There you have it. How'd you learn about it, Matt?
Probably watching you.
All right, Nestor. Go Nestor and Fred.
As weird as that came off.
That was the first time anyone who saw the Wizard, that was the first time you saw Super Mario Brothers 3. That was before it came out.
Yeah, it was definitely not out yet. Again, I remember being PO.
Well, then how'd they spoil the secret?
The kid did it. I don't know. He just knew to fly. That's one of the things in the movie that no one can figure out. How he knew to fly up and get the whistle.
I mean, whatever.
So they spoiled it.
Fuck him.
Kinda. So our number 1, I feel like Super Mario 3 and our number 1 can be switched if you want. It's up to you. But my favorite game of all fucking time, The Legend of Zelda.
That's
another one that I beat when we were in Cleveland, or at least played. I didn't beat it.
Fantastic.
Sitting.
I love that game. Games, I mean, like, you could say, like, that game is almost like a older version of, like, Borderlands, you know, in the outline of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, the depth of that game, you know what I'm saying? Like, the secrets, the little hidden shits, leveling your guy up, whatever. Right. Finding secrets in that game was like the equivalent of a child being shot up with heroin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not
Just
sure.
burning every bush, running off screen, coming back in, burning every bush. The next one.
Yep. Oh, while that water guy is spitting out on you.
Mm-hmm. You'd kill him. You'd go off screen. You'd come back. He's there again.
It was so frustrating to be in like one of the castles or whatever, and you're stuck. And I remember that every castle map looked like an animal.
One looked like a swastika.
I remember the snake. Getting lost in one of those, and you start bombing walls just for nothing, just to get out of there and nothing happens at all. That's when you want to rob out and you want to start axing your Nintendo and sacrificing it. Like when you're stuck, got nowhere to go. You don't know where the compass is. I know that there's a treat somewhere in this castle and I don't have it. Fuck this.
I'm out of bombs. It sucks.
Out of bombs. The wizard's shooting me with stuff because I stabbed him for no reason. He didn't die. Whatever. It was, and it was a hard game too.
Playing Legend of Zelda, that's the first time I can remember in my life where something came up that I had to stop playing that game that annoyed me. I threw a fit because I had to stop playing. I forget what I had to go do.
Probably.
But
Like
I remember being it wasn't school. It was something else. Something I had to go do.
Church.
But I don't think it was Christmas. I don't know what it was. Whatever it was.
Damn Christmas.
My shoes came in. I had to go get them.
Danny Christmas.
But yeah, that's how playing that game. Like that's all I wanted to do was play that game and beat that game, and anything else that came up was just had to wait.
Hassle.
Yeah.
Paul?
Now you wanted to talk about part 2.
Yeah, my disdain for part 2. Not
what a horrible follow-up.
Exactly. It's not that it's a bad game per se, but it was not a good game. Like to follow up the best game ever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how do you beat the best game ever?
You can't. I mean, they tried to jump on like the side scrolling bandwagon shit.
They should have just taken Zelda 1 and made a new map and did the same mechanics, you know?
Exactly. Update
Gold. Oh, I just got like chills thinking about that. Like,
is that what that noise was?
I didn't have noise.
I heard someone say goal.
That's the
Go.
Oh no, we got Robo Goal. So, yeah, part 2 was not good. And that game was hard as shit too.
Another game where at the end you fought your shadow self.
Another game where at the end I wanted to kill myself.
I never wanted to leave towns because when there's little fucking goblins popped up and hit you. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I'm in the swamp. Fuck off. Like, stay away from me, Blob and Shadow Man. I remember, what was it? The graveyard. Remember you had to go walk down the 4th row or whatever the hell in the graveyard, and you got that little like, boo!
Yeah, and you fell.
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like you fell.
You definitely fell. You fell like down a waterfall or some stuff, and I don't even remember where that took you. But that
Probably someplace bullshit.
I'll tell you, the guy I hated fighting the most in that shit was that Blue Knight that threw the French fries. He threw uncooked French fries at you. Because he was an excellent shieldsman. I'll tell you that.
He's an excellent chef, but
yeah, he can cook the crinkles, but he's also got a mean shield. And then,
he decided not to.
It was the blue one, the fucker. It was a lot easier when you got the down jump thrust or whatever, where you could stab down. Like that made it a lot easier and up. And it was There's castles were leaky too, because they always had leaks, and leaks would turn into blobs.
Who would then try to kill you? Maybe that's a sign. Goodbye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Mega Man.